I'm the destined one for Ethan Ford, the privileged heir of the capital elite, fated to save him from 100 deadly disasters. When my family collapsed, Mabel Ford stepped in to protect me, the last surviving bloodline. I foresaw that Ethan Ford would be killed by a falling chandelier tonight. To save him, I forced my way onto his private jet, enduring the scornful stares from him and his beloved Chloe Wilson. This was the 96th of Ethan Ford's 100 life-or-death crisis. But this time, I feel something is different. Only one oceanfront suite remained at the luxury hotel on the private island. He made 2 paper slips and had Chloe Wilson and me draw lots. I draw the suite on the first try, but he sneered.
Best 2 out of 3, again.
The second time, the slip saying oceanfront suite was still in my hand. Ethan Ford's face went ice cold. Mr. Ford?
Hey!
I didn't give him a third chance. I snatched the key card. Mr. Ford, can't you take a loss? Ignoring his rage and Chloe Wilson's cold glares, I moved into the suite alone. Grandma Mabel, today is the 96th time. Keep your promise. The elderly woman on the line fell silent for a long while.
The Ford family owes you. Help him survive all 100 cressiduses, and everything the Ford family owns will be yours.
I never cared about the Ford family's wealth. I stayed only to repay Grandma Mabel Ford's kindness. I once dared to hope that saving him 100 times might earn his true love one day. A sudden, rough, impatient knock came at the door. I opened it. Ethan Ford stood outside, his face dark. Behind him, Chloe Wilson leaned weakly against him, looking at me with a victorious gaze.
Chloe isn't feeling well and needs to rest. Give her the room now. Serena, are you done causing trouble?
I blocked the door and didn't move. Mr. Ford, you suggested the draw. Are you not ashamed to go back on your word?
Ethan Ford's eyes were as cold as ice.
You're really going to be this ungrateful?
He reached to push me aside, but I stepped aside and let him in. My premonition was clear. The chandelier would fall in 10 minutes. If you love this room so much, Mr. Ford, stay with me. I invited him on purpose, knowing his pride would make him leave immediately. But to my surprise, he didn't leave. He stepped inside instead. Chloe Wilson followed him in. Ethan Ford's expression softened slightly. He walked to the window and stared at the night sea. At that exact moment, I heard a faint cracking sound from the ceiling.
Look out!
The massive crystal chandelier crashed down exactly where I'd been standing. I made sure he was clear, but I couldn't dodge completely myself. Shattered crystal shards sliced my back like knives.
Ethan Ford stared in stare at the wreckage. Chloe Wilson screamed and threw herself into his arms.
Ethan, I'm so scared!
Ethan Ford held her, his eyes on me, suspicious, annoyed.
Another one of your stunts? You'd stage this just to keep me here? Serena, your tricks are getting cheaper.
The door slammed shut, leaving me alone with the broken glass. I couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed to the floor. The glaring red stain on the carpet felt like a countdown to the 100th crisis. Only 4 left. This endless torment was almost over. That night, I covered my pale face with concealer and changed into a high-necked, long-sleeved top to hide my back wound. Ethan Ford booked a table at the island's most famous restaurant. He called it gratitude and an apology. Chloe Wilson sat beside Ethan Ford, complaining softly. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my heart. I sensed danger again. This was the 97th crisis. A new kitchen buyer had bought contaminated seafood to save money. The heavy metals in the seafood reacted with lemon in the seasoning, creating a poison as deadly as arsenic. The waiter set the bowl in front of Ethan Ford. "Ethan, try this. They say it's today's special." Ethan Ford nodded fondly and picked up a spoon. His glance toward me was nothing but icy indifference. A faint scornful smile curled at the corner of Chloe Wilson's mouth as she caught sight of Ethan Ford's expression. "Sorry, I'm starving." Spice and heat burned from my throat to my stomach, then sharp, twisting pain hit. I forced a calm face and set the bowl down. "It's good."
Serena, are you insane? Are you not? Can you not like a savage in public? What are you trying to do?
Waspan de Sufub. The pain in my stomach grew worse, like 1,000 knives twisting inside me. "Serena, how could you? Ethan hasn't even had any." I couldn't hold it anymore. I rushed to the bathroom and knelt by the toilet, vomiting violently.
Disgraceful.
I lay on the cold floor, curled into a ball, drenched in cold sweat. The 97th crisis was over. But this time hurt worse than the last.
Miss Serena, the oceanfront suite needs major repairs after the chandelier incident. Mr. Ford wants you to move to Villa 3. But Miss Chloe says she doesn't want to see you and demands you stay in your room. Mr. Ford agreed.
I lay on the bed and fell into a dazed sleep. My back and stomach together. A sharp sense of dread jolted me awake in my sleep. Another crisis was coming. I got up at once and checked the villa. Sure enough, I found a gas leak in the kitchen. The thick fumes made me sick. This was the 98th. I rushed out of the kitchen just as Ethan Ford and Chloe Wilson returned from a walk, about to enter the living room.
Don't come in!
Serena, what stunt are you pulling now?
Ethan, I'm tired. Let's go inside.
There was no time to explain. The gas level was already dangerously high. Even a tiny spark from the door hinge, when they closed it, could blow up the entire villa. You're always the first to grab relief food. Why aren't you eating? I stared at the huge floor-to-ceiling window and made up my mind. I grabbed a stone sculpture from the coffee table and smashed it into the glass with all my strength. A loud crash. The glass shattered, wind rushing in. Fresh air poured in, clearing the gas, but I'd used too much force. Shattered glass cut my arm. Ethan Ford's rage exploded.
Are you crazy? You ruined the hotel chandelier, now you're smashing the villa?
I was saving you.
Saving us?
Do anything for my attention now. We're leaving tomorrow. I never want to see this lunatic again.
Night wind blew through the broken window, cold against my skin. I stared at my arm and laughed until I cried. Only 2 left. The mood on the private jet back was suffocating. I sat in the corner, far away from Ethan Ford and Chloe Wilson. My arm was wrapped poorly, still throbbing. The jet flew smoothly above the clouds. I stared at the white clouds, but my heart began to race. A powerful sense of danger washed over me. The 99th crisis. A plane crash.
Ethan, she's crazy! She wants us all dead!
What are you doing now?
Move! The plane's in danger!
Serena, I'm warning you! Behave!
I saw a gauge flashing abnormally on the dashboard.
Turn back now! Now! Or make an emergency landing!
Mr. Ford, we're missing 1 life vest.
If you cause this, you don't get a vest. Serena, stop!
I just struggled to my feet and stumbled toward the cockpit. The jet shook worse. Every step felt like walking on cotton.
Serena!
I didn't turn around. I burst through the cockpit door, engine overheating, about to fail. Using training from my family, I shoved forward without hesitation, pushed the co-pilot aside, shut off the faulty engine's brake switch, and yanked the emergency stabilizer down hard. The shaking jet slowly stabilized with a screech of metal. A miracle. The plane made an emergency landing at the nearest airport. Ethan Ford stared at me, his expression complicated.
How do you know how to do this?
Ethan, she sabotaged it. She wanted to hurt us, then pretend to save us to impress you.
I looked at Ethan Ford, waiting for his choice. He was quiet for a moment, then chose to believe Chloe Wilson.
Go back to the mansion. Don't leave without my permission.
I'd saved him for the 99th time, and this was my reward. Imprisonment. I said nothing. I turned and walked off the plane alone. As the truck was about to hit him, I acted on instinct, shoving him away with all my strength. I felt a massive impact. My body was thrown into the air, then crashed down hard. Agony consumed me at once. When I woke up, only Grandma Ford was in the hospital room. She sat by the bed, her silver hair messy, her eyes filled with exhaustion. When she saw me awake, she grabbed my hand at once.
Serena, you're finally awake.
I tried to move. My whole body hurt.
How long was I out? 3 days. The doctor said you had internal bleeding. You almost...
The 100th crisis was always the worst. Where's Ethan?
He had to go out.
What for?
Chloe's kitten is sick. She said she was scared alone.
While I lay dying in intensive care, he was comforting another woman over a sick cat. Grandma, I need to tell you something. I'm leaving. Our deal is done. Grandma Ford burst into tears.
I'm so sorry. I thought he'd love you. I thought he'd see how good you are.
But he never did. From the first time to the 100th, he never trusted me.
Serena, wait just a little longer. He'll understand.
Grandma Ford, I'm tired. So tired.
The room was silent except for the beeping of machines.
Okay. I'll arrange it.
I'm sorry, Grandma Ford.
Silly girl, I'm the one who's sorry. I was selfish. I let you suffer so much for my worthless grandson.
I closed my eyes. Tears rolled down my cheeks. But I don't regret it. These years were just me repaying you.
Serena.
Now the debt is paid. I want to live for myself.
Grandma Ford.
I understand. I'll arrange it right away. I'll have someone take you away tomorrow.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. I owe you. Serena, do you hate him?
I thought for a moment. No. I just don't love him anymore.
The 100 crises were finally over. Tomorrow, I'd be free. What's the date today?
The 16th.
I remembered. Tomorrow, the 17th, was Ethan Ford's birthday. It was also the day I would leave. Maybe it was fate. On his birthday, I would disappear from his life forever. From then on, the name Serena would never exist in his world again. I closed my eyes and slept soundly for the first time. In my dream, I was 18 again. My family was whole. My father was alive. My mother was alive. Serena, remember, you are the only person who matters in this world. Everyone else can let you down, but you can never let yourself down. I remember, Mom. This time, I really meant it. The day I left the hospital, it was drizzling. Mabel Ford had arranged for a plain black car to wait at the back entrance. I sat in a wheelchair and took one last look at the city sky.
Miss, we should go.
As the car pulled away, I saw Ethan Ford's Bentley driving into the hospital gate. He'd come to see me, but he was too late. It didn't matter. A minute late or a lifetime late, it was all the same.
Sir, who are you looking for?
Where's the patient who was here?
Oh, that young lady checked out a little while ago.
He'd thought I'd still be here waiting for him to visit, to ask why I'd pushed him. But the bed was empty. I was gone. He pulled out his phone and called me.
The number you dialed in service. Please check.
The number was disconnected. 3 days later, Ethan Ford began searching for me like a madman. He went to the mansion first. The staff said I hadn't come back. He found my college roommate. She looked confused.
Ethan, what's wrong with you lately? You're always thinking about something else.
Nothing.
Is it Serena? She was just in the hospital. It's not a big deal.
I said Serena was just faking being sick.
What did you say?
She did the same on the island, smashing chandeliers, breaking windows, now getting hit by a car. She just wants your attention.
Ethan Ford turned to stare at her sharply.
Ethan Ford stared at Chloe Wilson's face. She suddenly felt like a stranger.
You think she was faking it?
What else?
In that moment, Ethan Ford remembered the look on my face when I pushed him.
It wasn't an act.
I sat on a plane to Switzerland, staring at the clouds outside. All these years, I'd been quietly reclaiming my family's old assets. In 3 years, through various channels, I'd regained control of 60% of them. Now it was time to use them to start a new life. I bought a small villa by Lake Geneva. I started learning German, cooking, everything I'd never had time for before. No one here knew me. No one knew who I used to be. I was just Serena, an ordinary girl. Ethan Ford found Grandma Ford.
Grandma Ford, where is Serena?
Grandma Ford didn't look up. She kept watering her jasmine flowers.
She left.
Grandma, tell me where she is.
Grandma Ford looked up at her grandson.
Ethan, do you remember why I made you marry Serena?
Because she's my destined one.
Yes, she is. But you never believed it. She saved you from 100 crises. Every single time you thought she was acting.
Ethan Ford's face turned pale.
Grandma Ford, what are you saying?
The chandelier on the island, the plane malfunction, the gas leak, the speeding truck. She knew about all of them. She saved you from all of them.
That's impossible.
You can disbelieve it, but it's the truth. Now her job is done. She's free.
Grandma Ford, I have to find her.
You won't.
Mr. Ford, Miss Serena is in Geneva, Switzerland. We're confirming the exact address. Book a flight immediately. Right away.
After the investigator left, Ethan Ford picked up the photo frame on his desk. It was our wedding photo. I was forcing a smile in the picture. Now he realized how much pain was behind it. He'd just been going through the motions back then. He hadn't noticed at all.
Ethan, are you still thinking about her?
Chloe, I'm going to find my wife.
She doesn't want you anymore. She ran away to another country. She never loved you.
But I love her.
It was the first time Ethan Ford had admitted it out loud. He'd loved me for a long time. He'd just been too scared to admit it, too scared to believe it. Now it was too late. In my second month in Geneva, I could speak broke German to talk about roses with the elderly neighbor.
Guten Tag, Frau Müller. Die Rosen sind wunderschön.
That afternoon, the sun was bright. I just watered my new hybranias. I turned around and saw Ethan Ford. He stood at my garden gate, 4 bodyguards behind him. We stared at each other across a row of blooming roses. He'd lost so much weight. His eyes were bloodshot.
Serena, come home with me.
I set down the watering can and looked at him calmly. This is my home now. He pushed open the garden gate and walked towards me step by step.
No, home is where I am.
He tried to take my hand. I stepped back. Ethan, we're over. I was forced onto the plane back home. He locked me in the Ford mansion, the room I'd lived in for 3 years. The doors and windows were locked from outside. I was a bird in a cage. Every day he brought meals himself, sat by the bed, and repeated the same words over and over.
Serena, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'll give you anything you want. Don't leave me again.
I said nothing. I didn't look at him. I didn't eat a single bite of the food he brought. At first, Ethan Ford thought I was just being stubborn. But 1 day, 2 days, 3 days passed. I didn't eat or drink a thing. He finally panicked. He called a private doctor to give me IV nutrition. I pulled the needle out. He grabbed my chin to force-feed me porridge. I turned my head. The hot porridge spilled all over the floor. He finally broke down. The proud, untouchable Ethan Ford knelt by my bed, eyes red.
Serena, eat something, please. I'll do anything if you just eat.
I opened my eyes weakly and looked at him. With all my strength, I said 3 words. Let me go.
Anything but that.
He flinched violently, then shook his head. I closed my eyes and ignored him. Grandma Ford saved me. She opened the door with the spare key. When she saw how thin I was, she cried immediately. She sent all the staff and doctors away. She sent Ethan Ford away, too. We were alone in the room. Grandma Ford saved me. She opened the door with the spare key. When she saw how thin I was, she cried immediately. She sent all the staff and doctors away. She sent Ethan Ford away, too. We were alone in the room. She was silent for a very long time. She spoke suddenly, her voice full of a resolve I'd never heard.
Serena, I promised I wouldn't tell you certain things. I was afraid if he knew, he'd be nice out of guilt, not love. I kept hoping he'd see how good you are and love you on his own.
But I was wrong. So wrong. Grandma Ford stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. Ethan Ford was indeed waiting outside.
Get in here!
Grandma Ford threw them hard at his face.
3 years ago, you got into a pileup on your way back from a business trip. Who pulled you out of the burning car? You think it was Chloe Wilson? Ethan Ford staggered. He picked up the medical record. Every word on it was a knife stabbing his heart.
No, it can't be.
Impossible? Go check right now.
She saved you 100 times, nearly died 100 times for you. And this is how you repay her? With imprisonment and torture?
Every word Grandma Ford spoke was thunder crashing down on Ethan Ford. His entire world crumbled to the ground in that very moment. Ethan Ford shook violently, as if all his bones had been removed. He could barely stand. With Mabel Ford's strong intervention, I was taken to the best ward in the Ford Private Hospital. A top medical team was on call 24 hours a day.
Serena, if you die, I'll go with you.
I started eating again, not because I forgave him, but because Mabel Ford cried and said, I didn't want to put her in that position. My body healed day by day, but my heart sank into an endless dark ocean. Ethan Ford was grounded by Mabel Ford. He wasn't allowed near my ward. He would often sit for an entire night, like a soulless statue, motionless, his eyes fixed in the hospital ward, no sleep. The nurses said he sat there all night often, like a soulless statue. He bought the small company I'd just started in Switzerland and sent me all the ownership papers. I told the nurses to throw them in the shredder. He hired the most famous jewelry designer in the world to make a set for me, named Rebirth. I had it sent back untouched. A month later, I could finally get out of bed and walk. I opened the ward door. As expected, he was there. He leaned against the opposite wall. In just 1 month, he'd wasted away. His jaw was covered in stubble. He looked completely broken. When he saw me, he stood up straight at once. Joy exploded in his eyes.
Serena!
He wanted to come closer, but didn't dare. He just stared at me hopelessly.
Okay, we'll go home. I'll arrange it right away.
I'm leaving the hospital. I'm not going home. I'm leaving here.
No, I won't allow it. Serena, I won't let you leave me again.
He was the arrogant, obsessive Ethan Ford again. Have you forgotten? I paid back everything I owed the Ford family, everything I owed you. The 100th crisis, the truck that hit me. Do you remember? In that moment, the Serena who loved you died.
No, it's not true. Serena, you still love me. You're just mad at me, right?
I laughed. It was the first time I've laughed in all this time. Ethan Ford, I once thought saving you 100 times would earn your true love, but all I got was 100 times of doubt and countless hurts. I'm tired. I really don't love you anymore. I don't even hate you anymore. Those words cut deeper than any knife. He froze completely. Hate at least means you still care. But no hate means he's just a stranger to me now. He whispered in despair, all light gone from his eyes. I walked past him, step by step. Mabel Ford stood at the end of the hallway, holding out her hand to me. Ethan Ford roared like a wounded animal behind me. He tried to chase me, but the bodyguards held him back. I didn't look back. I held Mabel Ford's warm hand and walked out of the cage that had imprisoned my body and soul. The sunshine outside was wonderful. Everything felt like a movie about to end. A disheveled figure blocked the road ahead. It was Chloe Wilson. She looked miserable, no trace of her usual elegance, only madness and venom. She held a glass bottle filled with an unknown liquid, glinting dangerously in the sun.
Chloe, calm down.
Calm down? Ethan Ford, you destroyed everything I had, and now you tell me to calm down? It's all her fault. This woman ruined everything. It has nothing to do with her. It was me. I did everything.
You were just a fool I played with. You thought I saved you 3 years ago? I was standing 100 meters away watching this woman drag you out of the fire like dog. I only made a phone call and I fooled you for years. Serena, if I'm suffering, you will too. I'll ruin your face,
And then he'll stop obsessing over you.
She unscrewed the cap and charged at me like a madwoman. Everything happened too fast. I didn't even have time to react. The expected pain never came. A figure firmly stood in front of me. His shirt burnt through instantly, skin and flesh raw. But he looked back at me, his eyes full of fear and relief. I looked at him with no expression. The bodyguards finally reacted, rushing over and pinning the hysterical Chloe Wilson to the ground. The driver started the car. Mabel Ford rolled down the window and stared coldly at the two miserable people on the ground. The car slowly drove past Ethan Ford. He was pale with pain, big sweat drops rolling down his forehead, but he still stared at me stubbornly, muttering over and over. I settled into the new home Grandma Ford had prepared for me. A week later, I saw news about the Ford family on financial channels. Ford Group stock plummeted for 7 straight days, losing nearly $100 billion in market value. That afternoon, Grandma Ford came to see me. She looked much older, but still sharp-eyed.
You saw it all?
I nodded and poured her a cup of hot tea.
I went to see an old friend. He told me Ethan's fate is tied to the Ford family's 100-year fortune. And you are the only one who can hold this fate together. When you left, the anchor was gone. Those disasters would turn on him sooner or later, even worse than before. I asked him if there was a way to fix it.
Grandma Ford must have felt so helpless.
The solution? Trade the Ford family's 100 years of wealth for his safety. I donated 90% of the Ford family's assets and set up a foundation.
Grandma Ford's tone was calm, as if she was talking about something trivial. The room was silent. I didn't know what to say. Grandma Ford's decisiveness was astonishing.
Serena, you don't have to feel guilty, Grandma Ford said, as if she could read my mind. This is what the Ford family owes you, and the punishment he deserves. From today on, you have nothing to do with the Ford family. You're free.
After Grandma Ford left, I stood alone by the window for a long time. The city lights were beneath my feet, bright as a starry river. I exhaled slowly. Yes, I was free. I booked the fastest flight to Zurich. As the plane soared into the sky, I watched the city shrink below, my heart peaceful. Goodbye. Or maybe, goodbye forever. I rented a small house with a garden on the outskirts of Zurich. It wasn't big, but it was full of sunshine. I could see distant snow mountains and nearby grasslands when I opened the window. Using the family assets I'd secretly reclaimed, I registered a small investment consulting firm. I didn't chase size. I only took projects I cared about, especially startups related to environmental protection, new energy, culture, and art. Work wasn't busy. I had plenty of time for myself. I picked up my paintbrush again. The watercolors I loved as a teenager now painted the Alps and lakes on paper. Occasionally, I saw small news about the Ford Group in financial corners. The huge business empire had collapsed. Most core assets were donated or sold. Ethan Ford's name rarely appeared. When mentioned, it only said he'd tried a few small projects after left Ford Group, but none succeeded. As autumn deepened, Grandma Ford received a call from her private physician. The doctor's voice was careful, but clearly worried.
Miss Serena, the old lady's health is declining very quickly. If possible, I hope you can come back to see her.
I held the phone tightly, silent for a few seconds. I'll arrange a time. I didn't tell anyone. I flew back alone. I went straight to the Ford mansion. The mansion was much quieter than I remembered. Only 1 or 2 old servants remained. The garden plants looked uncared for. Grandma Ford sat in a sunroom rocking chair, covered with a thick blanket, napping. The old mansion is much quieter now. There are only 2 servants left. The flowers in the garden are a bit neglected. I walked over gently and knelt beside her. She seemed to sense me and slowly opened her eyes.
Serena, is that my Serena?
I held her thin, bony hand against my cheek. It's me, Grandma Ford. I came back to see you.
Good. Good that you're back.
Tears poured out of her at once. Her other hand stroked my hair over and over. That afternoon, I stayed with her in the sunroom. When she was alert, she chattered about little things, I only told her funny stories about Switzerland. She passed away peacefully in her sleep on the 4th morning after I arrived. Her face was calm, even with a faint smile. I called the lawyer and a few distant Ford relatives. The funeral was simple, following Grandma Ford's will. After the funeral, the crowd left. I was the last to leave the cemetery. Ethan Ford still stood in front of Grandma Ford's tomb. I didn't stop. I walked straight to the waiting car. The car drove away. In the rearview mirror, that figure grew smaller and losser, until it disappeared. I didn't go straight to the airport. I asked the driver to take me to the suburban cemetery. At my parents' joint grave, I laid 2 white chrysanthemums. "Dad, Mom," I whispered, "I came to see you. From now on, I'll live well with what you left me."